Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. This week I thought we could maybe try something a little different. Not really super different because I feel like my channel is sort of like mostly my book, but I thought we could do a more traditional journal with me video. I'm still having kind of a weird time behind the scenes, and recently I feel like the Attic Archives episodes aren't really pulling together in the way they used to. I just have a lot going on and I'm not really getting a lot done, so there's not really enough to show you in the week because I'm mostly just trying to rest. I am mostly just napping on the sofa these days, apart from when I'm doing like little bits of work. I thought if we did a more traditional journal with me, then we could body double for a little while. You can sit and do your journal, or you can just watch me do mine, or have it on in the background, that kind of thing. So I've let it run in real time, and I haven't edited out all of my umming and ahhing. I'm not gonna play the video with the audio because it's a long time to have the actual audio going, and I was listening to a CD, I think, and also I had the fan on because it's getting hot, so can't leave the sound on, unfortunately. Maybe in the future, but with the summer coming and being in an attic bedroom, it's just impossible without a fan. So I thought instead we could talk a bit and I would answer some questions. In the video, I make one commonplace page. It's just some notes about my current project that I'm working on. I think I finally worked out like the front cover for it. Some of you might remember that in a previous video I mentioned wanting to make a Halloween zine for the summer, so like an out of season everyday gloom guide. And I think I'm gonna make it like a sketchbook. I think it would be kind of fun. I want it to be something that people could print at home, so I think this might be a nice way of doing it. So I scanned the front and the back of a notebook to make the covers, and that's what I'm sticking down here. So the first part of the video is me making this page and making some notes about it. I stick some extra bits alongside it. And then after that, I think I catch up on my weekly pages and I fill in my sleep log for my doctor. So that's what I do in this video. It might not be super interesting, but as always, I like to keep the schedule of weekly uploads, even if I feel like I don't have a lot to share. I know that some of you also appreciate the weekly schedule. It's just sometimes I need a little break, and other weeks I feel like what I need more is the routine, because if I take a break or two breaks, sometimes I find it hard to get started again. So the routine does help me, and at least then at the end of every week I have something to show for it, which makes me feel better, I guess, generally about not my productivity, because as we always say, this isn't a productivity channel, but it does make me feel a little better, I guess. Like, at least I documented something. Otherwise, with my memory issues, I just lose things. So at least if I document something for all of us, for myself, then there's something to look back on, and I haven't just lost the time to being unwell. And I guess that's what it comes down to again and again. It's just this idea of like dealing with stuff and trying to make the most of it without losing too much time at the same time. I don't know. Hopefully most of you know what I mean, but there we go. So obviously you can either watch this video with sound or without sound. If you want to mute me, that's absolutely fine. I am also sick of hearing my own voice. But trying to find 20 minutes or 30 minutes worth of license-free music is a nightmare. So yeah, if you want to mute me and listen to your own music, you can absolutely do that. That's what this video is for. If you just want to listen to me one time and then mute me the next time, that's also good, because I know some of you rewatch. So whatever you need, go for it. Otherwise, I will talk a little, and then maybe if I run out of things to talk about for like the first time in my life, I'll answer some of the questions that you guys left me in my community tab a couple of weeks ago. But otherwise, feel free to tune me out, or actively listen, whatever you want. I am really pedantic, is that the right word? I think so, about cutting things out. So I cut it out once and then I go around and I cut it again closer, neater. I am really funny about it. I don't like it when the lines are really jagged, but it does take me a really long time, which is often why when I make the shorter journaling clips, I cut it out and I speed it up because it takes me a long time. But I do like to try and cut things as smoothly as possible. It doesn't really help that my scissors are literally just like the cheapest scissors you can buy from the sewing section in the supermarket. If you're in the UK, if you go to Tesco or Sainsbury's, on the end of the aisle, you get like this teeny tiny sewing section sometimes. And that's where I buy my scissors from. It's just from that. They're like £3 or something, maybe less. Yeah, I haven't bought a pair in a while, but when they get really rusty or when they break, I can just replace them. My dad once borrowed them and completely snapped the top half of the scissors off, so they're not really the best. But I do like that they're relatively easy to find and buy. That is, I guess, the major perk. And I like that they're orange, so that's where my scissors are from. Which, now that I'm reflecting, I don't think is information that anyone needs, but just in case you wanted those scissors, there you go, they're not fancy. I moved the bits around on the page for ages. This is also something I would normally cut out. I think this video might be kind of nice because a lot of people have been asking me to show like the mistakes in my book. And to be fair, if you zoom in on any of my pages or if you pause the frames for any of my pages, you can see there are scribbles everywhere. Like I scribble out a lot of words. Even though my pen is erasable, I do a lot of scribbling because I kind of like it. I think it looks kind of cool when you scribble words out. I am very much like I don't know, like I'm not a purist in that sense because I quite like how things can look when they're a little bit messy. But this is nice because you can see all my umming and ahhing, all my back and forth, how long it takes me to do stuff. You can see my scribbles, you can see me erasing and rewriting things in real time. So hopefully it'll make you feel better. This one I really wasn't sure about when I was putting this page together because for the drawings on top of the sketchbook page to show, or the sketchbook cover to show, I had to print it quite big. I printed it smaller first, like twice, and like you couldn't see the white drawings on the book, which might be something I have to troubleshoot for the final zine, because if people are printing it to put in their notebook or just to print it, I can't guarantee how well it will print, I guess, on other people's printers. I think maybe the lines just need to be thicker for the white bit because you can't really see it, which, I don't know, when you look at it digitally it's so clear and so big, but obviously when you're printing it's just not the same, is it? So especially where black and white are involved, I feel like printers really struggle, and often with detail as well, so that's something I'll have to bear in mind. But anyway, because of that, I was really struggling to work out where to place it on the page. Normally I print much smaller and I use much smaller images, and then I can kind of layer them up wherever I want in the different corners. This one is like half a page. This picture is like half a page, so I really didn't know where to put it at first. It was a really hard time. I moved it around a lot and then I trimmed more of the background off so that it was more closely cut, and then I felt a bit better. But even still, you can see me here sort of like moving stuff around. I just didn't know where to orient things. Like I was a bit not out of my comfort zone because I don't know if it's that deep, but I was. Eventually I think I put it on the left, and then I got the little orange dot. I use those little like copper foiled stickers all the time, and that's what I'm looking for here, but I use them in like all my commonplace pages. I just think they're really cute. I bought them for my shop orders, but now I use them for everything because I just think the colour is so pretty and it warms the page up and I really like it. I really like introducing that little coppery tone to all my stuff because it makes it feel more Halloween-y. Like, not literally, but like it just gives that like spookier, softer, warmer colour scheme, especially if I have like a lot of black or grey or dark imagery on the page. I just think that little spot of warmth is really like soft. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel. I really like it. That's often also why like I'll just pop the stickers like in the edge of a frame if I'm setting up a desk shot. Like I'll just pop them in there because I think it does the same thing for the video. Like it just warms it up a little and makes it look a little, I don't know, a little spookier, a little gloomier. So I actually buy these stickers on Amazon just because it can be quite hard to buy bulk stationery in the UK or like commercial supplies in the UK. I don't know how to say it. Basically to buy like rolls of stickers and stuff for packing shop orders, it's quite hard to get them in person. And online, Amazon, unfortunately, seems to be the easiest and most reliable place to buy them from. I've never really had much luck with anywhere else. So if you want to buy them, you just have to search, like, foil stickers or, like, how would you do it? Like, if you search, like, rolls of star stickers and then you scroll down from them, then you can start to find all the other shapes and stuff, and they come in rolls of, like, 1,000. So it is a commitment, but I really like them. My glue is actually almost completely run out. I need to order some more. I think I did order more yesterday. because my glue stick is almost completely dry. I kept trying to wind it up more, like turn more glue out. How would you say it? When you twist the bottom so more glue comes up. I couldn't get more glue to come up, basically. There's no glue left in my Pritt stick. So I was trying to make sure the corners were stuck down because I wasn't really convinced how much glue was actually on the back of the page. And then again with the little flower. And this is why I really only did one commonplace page. I had originally planned to do more, maybe, for like more focus of the video. But because my glue is completely dry, I could not really stick anything. Because I'm folding my pages in half to make the pages, the inserts for my planner, I don't really want to use double-sided tape or anything like I used to because it will add that much more bulk. The folded pages are already pretty thick, which is quite nice because it makes them feel more durable, but I don't really want to add double-sided tape on top of it and make it like even more thick. Like, it's just a bit much then. So here I'm trying to work out the placement for my little foil sticker. I thought for a moment I was going to put it there, and then I don't think I did. Maybe I did. Okay, it looks like I probably did. I do stick some other stuff on the side. I can't remember what. But I basically do a bit of writing, and I was just writing about my idea for the cover and for it to be a sketchbook and how I thought that would be kind of cool, maybe for people to print at home. I haven't actually started work on the pages yet because I have been struggling a little, which I feel like is all I ever talk about on my channel, but it has just been like one long continuous flare-up recently, I think. Like, I've been struggling with the same thing behind the scenes for weeks now, and every week I come on and I'm like, it's a weird week, I feel terrible, I'm not doing anything, but every week it's the same. My doctor's appointment is actually next week, so hopefully sometime soon I might be able to get something sorted. That being said, nothing moves particularly fast in the UK, health-wise, like doctors-wise, it takes a long time, there are a lot of wait lists, so I'm not sure. But at least I'll have started trying to do something about it. The biggest problem I'm having at the moment is just drowsiness and fatigue, and I think I had a question actually about how I deal with that day to day. And at the moment the answer is just letting myself be drowsy and fatigued. The kind of drowsiness that I'm dealing with at the moment, I feel, is not something that you can imagine if you've never experienced it. But I'm so drowsy, not just tired, not just lethargic, not just fatigued, but I'm so sleepy that I find it impossible to think straight, to get anything done, to work on anything long term, because I'm constantly falling asleep. And when I'm not asleep, the fog and the feeling of being drowsy and sleepy is so intense that I feel like I don't get anything done. Like, I mean, I don't get anything done, that's a fact, but like, it's just so hard to even think through. It's like trying to move through quicksand, like trying to think through quicksand. Like, you know, when you were a kid and you'd be on the sofa like really late at night when you shouldn't have been, and you'd be falling asleep and you just can't keep your head up. It's like that, but all the time. And then trying to stay conscious through it and think through it just feels impossible sometimes. So multiple times a day I'm taking like unintentional naps. I'm not even falling asleep, I'm just waking up somewhere and being like, oh god, how did this happen? And sometimes the naps are like 10 minutes, other times they're longer. Like, it's been a strange time for me. I'm not sure what's causing whatever this is to flare up so bad, but basically to deal with it, I'm just letting myself sleep when I need it. I've never been very good at sleeping at night, which I think is part of the related issue, but at the moment I'm just letting myself take those naps during the day, and then when I do feel a bit more awake afterwards, I'm pushing to get some work done. I'm trying to stay on top of my emails and replying to customers and stuff, helping you guys troubleshoot the printer files, and just trying to make the most of those like really small like lucid moments that I have, and then otherwise just not holding it against myself if I'm not having them. If I'm too tired and too drowsy, then I just say, okay, well, like, you can't force it. Like, especially the kind of drowsiness I'm talking about, you really can't force it. Like, it just doesn't work. So I'm just letting myself sleep, and that's probably not helpful to the person who asked about how I cope with it, but at the moment that is how I cope with it, like just taking naps, to be honest. I think I said this in a previous video, or maybe I answered a Tumblr inbox about it. Someone asked me what my most recent self-care activity is, and I said that I was practicing the art of radical napping, which is kind of the way I'm looking at it, in like a lighthearted, funny way, and not like a really worried about what's going on with my health way. In a lighthearted way, I'm practicing the art of radical napping. So if I get too drowsy, I just say, okay, I'll take a 10-minute sleep. If I then wake up and do 20 minutes of work but then get too drowsy again, then maybe I try a longer nap, and then I try again, and I'm just feeling through it day by day, which, you know, is not the most exciting or hopeful or, I don't know, helpful thing to hear about, but that's where I'm at. That's what's going on at the moment, unfortunately. So I'm doing my best. My best at the moment is not a lot, but at least it's something. And that's why I guess I'm making a journal with me video this week. And if you can hear Wednesday drinking water, I'm so sorry. Yep, she's just having a good long drink apparently, which is annoying. That's why I'm making a journal with me this week, because I just don't feel like I have a lot to offer at the moment. Like, I'm so tired. I'm so sleepy. But at least it's something, and we can do something together for a little while. It was good for me too, because I hadn't done a lot this week, but I sat down to do this and I thought like, oh, well, I've been wanting to make this commonplace page, so if I set aside the time and commit to doing it and I can film it, then at least I've made the video, but I've also finally made that page I've been procrastinating. And it's kind of like, that's when my sleepiness and my drowsiness and everything, and my fatigue or whatever, that's when it starts to get frustrating and disappointing, is when it's interrupting the things that I genuinely want to do. And obviously that's a big part of disability. It's just like, obviously it doesn't happen when you want it to happen. It's like your health will flare up, or something will change, and it will stop you doing stuff that you really care about. Not stuff that's fun to procrastinate or that you don't want to do, or it's just the stuff that you actually really care about and do want to do, and that really sucks. So anyway, after I did some writing about my front and back cover, I added some more stickers because there was that little space, and I thought it would be kind of cool, because the one image is so dark, I thought it might be kind of nice to add some extra bits in. So I used the letter stickers, and there's a big gap where my hands aren't in the shot because I was looking for more stickers, I think. But I wrote the words gloom. The zine is called Everyday Gloom, so I don't have a brain, so that was the best I could come up with. I just wrote gloom, and I think it looks kind of cool. There wasn't enough room to put the whole word on one line, so I put it over 2 lines, and it's fine. Like, I think that's the kind of thing people ask about, whether, like, how do you make things, like, perfect or not perfect? And it's this kind of thing where it's like, I didn't really know if it would fit. Like, obviously, if I'd really thought about it, I probably would have realised that it wasn't gonna fit. But it doesn't matter if you break it over 2 lines. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing just doesn't matter. And if I remember correctly, I was having a hard time placing the letters because my hands were shaking so hard. I don't know why. I think it's a side effect of my drowsiness. But when I get really sleepy, my hands start shaking really hard. And it was happening to me here. There's a bit, I think, I don't know if it's in frame or not, but I hold my hand out because I'm like, I stick a sticker and then I'm really confused about why my hand is shaking so hard, so I hold my hand out, and then it was like proper trembling, and I was like, okay, fantastic. But I persevered because I had stuff to do. So I keep writing and stuff afterwards, but it's just like, I don't know why I'm telling you about it, but it's a weird new side effect I have of something. It's just my hand proper shaking constantly. Is definitely something I will be asking the doctor about, because it's not conducive to keeping physical notebooks and writing a lot and drawing for a living. The shakiness in my hands is getting kind of like, I don't know, interruptive. It's starting to really interfere with my existence. So, yeah. After that, I think I add a little bit more text, and then I move on to my weekly page. Oh, I actually have to tell you that I made some more weekly pages. The one that you see me using in a couple of minutes is a new layout that I made. I made a pack for the shop of 3 new weekly layouts. I know that some people don't like the vertical weekly pages like you get in the Hobonichi Cousin, which is what my original one was based off of. So for a little while, I've been working on some alternative views, I guess, some alternative layouts. I made a couple that have the full week on one page, which some people were asking me for, and the patrons have been testing them for a little while. So I will put those up tonight with the video, so you can buy them in the shop when you're watching this, if you're interested. If you're not interested, no sweat. This whole Filofax thing has just been one long experiment with myself. It's been a really fun experiment, as I keep saying. I'm having a really good time, but there's no pressure for anyone to be using my inserts. I make them because I want them, because I want to use them, and then I share them because some of you ask, but there's never any pressure. You shouldn't feel pressured to ditch your system to test my inserts or anything. Hopefully no one feels that way, but just in case, like, please don't do that. Only use them if you want to. It's so chill. But if you have requests for pages, you can let me know in the comments. I'm always open to working on new designs and new layouts and stuff. At the moment, I'm only making A5 inserts. I haven't branched out into other sizes yet because I have dyscalculia, which is like numerical dyslexia, and I'm too intimidated. The idea of having to resize things terrifies me. But one day I might do it. I'm going to keep working A5 for a while, and then maybe when I'm feeling confident enough in making those kinds of layouts, I will look at adjusting them for the personal size, I guess. Probably not the pocket size, because it's so small. Like, I was looking at it in a shop recently, and I was like, how does anyone use this when it's so teeny tiny? I have a lot of respect for those of you who are doing all your functional planning in the pocket Filofax, because I can't even comprehend it. It is so small. It is very, very little. So, yep. What else do I have to talk about this week? I picked up some new CDs. I was looking at the questions earlier, and one of them was, what was your most recent CD? So, because I like CDs, I'll talk about that. Please give me an excuse to talk about my special interests. The most recent CDs I bought were... I got a Foo Fighters album. I got The Kooks, because I used to listen to them when I was young. In my local secondhand music shop, they sell vinyl, CDs, and cassettes. They sell CDs at 4 for £10. So I picked up 3 of them, and then I picked up an extra one to make the 4 for 10. So I got Gorillaz, Plastic Beach. I got Counting Crows, Foo Fighters, and The Kooks, which is such a jarring mix, which the guy also commented on at the till. He was like, these are choices. And I was like, fair. But that's what I picked up. I would say Gorillaz is the most recent one, or Counting Crows maybe. But there we go. Those are my most recent CDs. Before that, last week, I got OK Computer by Radiohead. I got a second copy of Nevermind by Nirvana because the copy that I have is the cardboard case rather than the plastic jewel case. I don't really like the cardboard ones, they're really annoying. So when I saw a plastic case one in the shop, their secondhand shop, I picked it up as well. Just in case, I guess. Like, I don't know what I think is going to happen to my CDs that I need a just in case Nirvana album, but there we go. That is the kind of person that I am, apparently. I also picked up a Vampire Weekend CD last week, so that's pretty cool. Again, I used to listen to them when I was young, but they're good enough and easy enough listening that I think I could still listen to them if I was in the right mood. So, there we go. On screen now, I'm working on my weekly page. As you can see, I haven't filled in Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a bit precarious because today's Friday when I'm recording the audio. I filmed the footage on Thursday, which is why I'm filling in the Thursday box, but like the more time that passes, the harder it gets for me to go and backfill the pages. So sitting here right now on Friday evening, I'm like, oh god, what did I do on Tuesday and Wednesday? It's already kind of slipped away from me, which is a difficult thing to be reckoning with, to be honest. But this is also part of why I decided I would use the week on one page view for my planner this month. Last month I was using the vertical ones from the Hobonichi that I drew up for my Filofax. But because I'm practicing my radical resting and I'm not doing as much work and stuff, I find that it's easier to have a smaller space to fill when I was using the vertical view, because the pages are quite long, I guess the days are quite long, which is so good if you're busy, but because I've been trying not to be busy in an effort to take care of myself, it just got harder and harder to fill the space, and then like I just fill it in with other stuff, and then it just becomes like this pressure And then if I'm feeling really bad on a day and I don't fill it out, then I have to go back and try and find stuff to fill in a whole page. And if I don't have it, like if I'm already forgetting it, then it's really hard to try and do that. And then it just reminds me of the fact that I'm losing time and stuff, and I'm not getting enough done, and not getting enough done, but not doing much. And then it just becomes this cycle then of like thinking about how unwell I am and then not being able to deal with it. And then it's like, it's just a lot. So it's nice to be testing a week on one page and having less room to write in, because there's less stress involved, I think, at the moment. Obviously, the biggest perk of using a Filofax is that if I do end up wanting more room again, I can go back and start using the vertical view again when I'm feeling better, and that's nice. It's nice that now my system, my commonplace book, my planner, everything, like my all-in-one place book, my great big book of everything, it's very customizable, and that's such a relief as someone who is constantly battling back and forth with their health and their abilities. As I say, I don't know why something has flared up as bad as it has at the moment, but it's a relief to know that I don't have to change book again because I'm not able to fill in all the space. Like, I really loved the month I spent in the Hobonichi Cousin, but in the state I'm in now, when I think about it, if I was having to fill in those pages, I would be so stressed. Like, I know I was disregarding the dates in my Hobonichi Cousin, but I still kind of feel like I would have to fill in the whole month of June in June, do you know what I mean? Even though I'm not using the daily pages as daily pages, I still think the pressure might have been there, and if I had only filled up like 10 or so pages, I think that would have been quite like sort of stressful or upsetting. It's easy to say that I shouldn't care, and I know I shouldn't, but it's a different thing to try and not care, if you know what I mean. So it is a relief to know that I'm just printing pages as I need them and then changing things up as I need to, and it's all fine, and it's all still in one book, and I can still keep my commonplace pages together and everything, and it's not, you know, it's nice, it's not as stressful. So now I'm going to fill in my sleep log on screen. This is a diary I've been keeping for my doctor in advance of going to them about my sleep troubles and my drowsiness. It's just information about the times I'm going to bed, waking up, like how many times I wake in the night and stuff. I'm also keeping track of how many naps I take in a day, how bad my general fatigue and drowsiness is, how many caffeinated drinks I'm consuming, that kind of thing. Your basic sleep diary, to be honest. But I'm hoping that if I do that in advance and take it to my GP, it will be a help, because then the first task for my GP won't be to assign me a sleep diary. I'm hoping this way I can skip that step because I've been around this route before. I spent my childhood filling out migraine and sleep diaries, so I'm really hoping that this means we can bypass that and I can either, I don't know, get a referral or something, or just be, I don't know, I'm hoping we can bypass that step, basically. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm hoping. I'm bringing 10 days worth of sleep tracking with me. Tracking. I wish I was tracking sleep, but I'm not. Yeah, so hopefully that will help. I guess that's a tip. If you're dealing with stuff, try and think ahead of your GP and then bring it with you. They really love that. That was sarcastic, they don't love it. But sometimes you have to advocate for yourself. So that's what I'm trying to do, I guess. I have quite a lot of like medical trauma, I guess. I have a hard time approaching my doctor about new things. I was really poorly as a kid, and growing up a girl in front of mostly like old men, like doctors, like it really sucks because they just patronize the hell out of you the whole time. Like for a long time I was under Great Ormond Street Hospital because I was so poorly, but my general practitioner, my general doctor, was still being a patronizing knob to me and acting like I was just a silly little 13-year-old stressed about boys, which was so far from the reality of my problems. So I do find it hard to approach doctors, even though now my doctor is a really nice lady. I still have a hard time kind of like standing up for myself and advocating for what I believe about my own health. And obviously I live in my body. My doctor does not live in my body. My doctor doesn't even see me regularly, so it does suck if they don't take you seriously, as if you're not waking up every day and dealing with the things you're discussing. So yeah, I just think sometimes if you bring stuff with you to prove how serious you are, it can help. So that's what I'm trying to do, because I'm sick of living like this. I'm sick of dealing with it. I'm tired of being tired, as I say. I'm so tired of all of it. So hopefully my little sleep diary, as silly as it can be, will help speed things along a little. It's not super interesting, but I made this format for it because the one you can print online from the NHS website is really ugly, and it has this like weird eye clip art, like these real human eyes are like in the background of the page, and it's horrific. So I had that in the back of my Filofax for a while. I think I printed it in last week's video, but after like a day I was like, I can't do this, it's stressing me out. I'm like going to bed at night haunted by the eyes on my sleep tracker. So I made my own ones, also because I didn't feel like I had enough room to write about my troubles. So I made my own ones, and I'm sure my GP will be very enthused at the idea of my very long diary. But there we go. To end the video, I have made a little flip through to show you. I filmed it from a funny angle because I had to clip my tripod onto the windowsill, so it's not top down, but hopefully it still gives you an idea. So my weekly pages and my habit tracking and stuff, I'm now also tracking health on the same pages. And then my commonplace book, I have some printed articles, I have some written pages, I have some illustrations, I have some little stuck in things, I have a lot of little shiny copper foil stickers. But it's going really well. I'm having a really good time using my Filofax. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was cool. Please tell me if you liked it. If you like it being this long and like unedited, please let me know. Otherwise, I could edit it so that it's only like 10 minutes long. You know, if you want it to be shorter, then tell me, and I will try and cut it down. We can bypass my 5 minutes of cutting a sticker. That kind of thing. I wasn't really sure how to do it because most journal with me's are short, but like I take too long to do stuff. Like I'm not a 10-minute journal girly. It takes me too long to decide where to put things. So yeah, I left it long this time in case you prefer that, but please tell me if you want it long or short, okay? Because these videos are really useful, maybe for weeks when I'm not doing so good. Someone on Tumblr actually gave me the idea, so thank you to that Anon. This is a lot less stressful than trying to film a whole week of doing stuff or a whole week in my notebook. To just sit down and collect one day worth of notebook stuff is obviously a much easier task to manage some weeks than others. So yep, that is my Filofax. I hope you liked it. I hope you're all doing good. If you have requests for any future stuff, let me know in the comments as well. Otherwise, I hope you're all doing better than I am, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. And thank you for watching. I will see you next week.